What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fight Picks with the Pros. My name's Garrett Marchesano, and this week we're going to view 5 fights on the upcoming UFC 268 card featuring Kamaru Usman versus Colby Chaos Covington. In the main event, we're also going to review a few MMA current events before we jump into it. This week, as always, I'm joined by my co-host, former Season 18 Ultimate Fighter champ, Chris Holds It Down Holdsworth.
What's up, everybody?
All right, let's go.
Introducing Fight Picks with the Pros, brought to you by FanDuel.
All right, so current events for the recap, we got to talk about Glover Teixeira winning the light heavyweight strap.
Epic.
Long way back. He
Yeah.
thought he was out of it. He thought he missed his chance. He went on a 5 win streak.
42.
Impressive win streak. So time he was 41 to 42. He strung together a really great string of wins. He became undeniable, and Dana said, I got to give him a shot. Gave him the shot. He was the underdog coming in this fight, big time. Got to admit that Chris was rolling with them, and he got the win to become the light heavyweight champ. Chris, thoughts on that?
Well, you know my thoughts. I should have put some money on it because, man, all my picks these last few weeks have been pretty on cue, right? I've been calling it by like the actual sub or finish. And sometimes that's hard to do, and maybe I'm getting lucky, or maybe I just no mixed martial arts. I'm a huge fan. Glover Teixeira, he's a jiu-jitsu guy. He won the ADCC trials in Brazil. I've been following him ever since. I was like, who's this MMA guy winning at such a high level? And then he's been on a tear, over 20, close to 20 fights or over 20 fights in the UFC. And now he's champion at 42 years old, and he submitted Jan Blachowicz. To submit somebody in a championship level fight is very impressive to me. To get a finish in general in a championship fight is like super impressive. I think you probably see more time and time again championship fights going to decision because the skill level is so even, right? So it's kind of back and forth. So when I see some, a championship fight get finished, I love it. I love it. So shout out to Glover. I want to see who he's going to fight next.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Who's on? Yeah, who?
Yuri looks like he's gonna be the next guy coming up, light heavyweight guy with the crazy hair that he puts up in the ponytail.
Yuri. Oh,
super
that
aggressive
guy. Yeah. I forgot about him.
It's gonna be a great fight. So we'll see. So huge kudos to Glover. How many fights does he have left? He's going to be a champ. Of course, he wants to defend his belt, and he's got that championship dough coming in. So couldn't be more happy for the guy. And from the first day I met Chris, he's one of the guys he mentioned that was a guy that you looked up to through the mixed martial arts game. So it's got to feel good. So let's jump on another notable one. We got to talk about Sandhagen versus Peter Yan. That was just an epic fight, back and forth, and it looked like Peter just gritted it down. He just wouldn't stop coming forward, and really the turning point I thought was that spinning back fist that dropped him. Was a heavy-handed back fist. So, Chris, what was your overall thought of that fight and Jan coming out on top?
Yeah, great fight from both guys. Jan, impresses me time and time again. Now that I'm kind of like watching more of his fights and seeing him, in these championship fights, he waits and analyzes his opponents, I feel like, the first round or two and kind of like tries to figure them out. And then once he figures them out, he starts taking them apart and piecing them up a little bit. But, Sandhagen held his own I'm not sure what was the week notice on that. Do you know?
I think it was like 3.
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks. You can always say, hey, I would like to see Sandhagen with the full camp. Yeah. To me, maybe he did look like he was slowing down the last 2 rounds. Yeah. That's just my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. But he pushed through every round and looked great and put up a fight and never gave up. But, when you fight a guy who's been getting ready for a championship level fight and a guy like Jan, you got to take the opportunities that are presented to you. But, I would like to see Sandhagen with a full camp versus Jan. I think Sandhagen's the type of guy to learn from his mistakes and learn from where he could have done things a little bit differently because he was effective. He was landing shots.
Yeah, he was.
But the power from Jan was what was effective, and the stance switches. He was able to land shots from both stances. And when he started spinning, it wasn't only the spinning back fist. He was like following up the spinning back fist with like an overhand.
Yeah.
It was like a looping, like combos. A looping, stepping forward hook after the. So he was like using the momentum from the back spinning fist and coming through with the opposite hand looping hook. So yeah, good fight from both guys.
Yeah, he was throwing heavy shots. Yeah, great fight. So I look forward. It looks like it's going to be, of course, Aljamain Sterling coming back from his surgery, fighting Peter Yan. So that's going to be a great matchup. Another notable thing, I have to mention to see if you heard this. Vera walked out to Island Boy song. Have you heard that song, Chris? I'm an island boy, just trying to make it.
Do it one more time.
I'm an island boy.
No, never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a viral song. It's getting like tens of millions of views in the last week, and it's hilarious. These two tatted
I might just
guys.
cut that out and then make your face go viral. Just calling like, I'm an island boy.
Put the island boy hat on mine, and but it's funny because I can't get out of my head, and my fiance at home is so annoyed with me because I just walk around the house. I'm just singing that, yelling it, and she just has to listen to it. But it's hilarious. We'll clip in a piece from that song. But let's move on to some other current events. We got Gaethje and Cormier going back and forth. Have you seen this Twitter battle?
Gaethje and Cormier? No, I haven't.
Seems like DC's beefing with the
Man,
guys
I think I've
left
been
and
missing
right.
some stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like I have a Twitter, but I don't jump on like daily.
Yeah.
Sometimes I jump on for like stock stuff or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah,
like trying to follow that. But I need to take advantage because I miss a lot of stuff. There's a lot of drama on Twitter.
Yeah, Gaethje's basically saying that DC's super biased towards Islam and is always talking him up, and said that Islam deserves the title shot over Gaethje, even if Gaethje wins this next fight. And of course, Gaethje didn't like that because he's trying to get a win against Chandler and get a title shot, and that's his whole goal. And so, of course, Justin he tweeted "suck it" harder to DC, and they went back and forth a little bit. But at the end of the day, DC is a little biased. It's hard not to. Islam was in his camp that he trained out of. Kickboxing Academy out in San Jose. Is it in San Jose? I think it is San Jose, right?
American Kickboxing Academy? Yeah.
So it's hard. These are guys he's trained with and sweats with and is helping out. So I get it both ways. They squashed at the end, and DC said, hey, you're one of my favorite fighters, man. I can't fight you, so no reason we should talk crap. So just a little drama. Chris, what are your thoughts on that quickly?
It sucks to see the drama in the MMA community because like we should all be like helping each other and supporting each other, because it's hard what they do. They get out there and they fight people for entertainment, possibly getting really hurt for the rest of their lives. So they just need to make up, and maybe after the fight they can hug it out.
Yeah, I think they will. Last thing before we jump into our official fight picks, did you see the referee during the fight that got kicked out?
No, so I saw that. Like I saw something going on, but I didn't read into it.
So one fighter took like 15 unanswered shots. He's rolling on the cage like this, and it just boom, boom, and so DC and them started like, stop the fight, and they started yelling it, and they're like, this fight needs to be stopped. This fight needs to be stopped. And then the ref, there was a few other things where a guy got poked or something, and DC said, okay, this is where he's going to bring in the doctor to evaluate, and he didn't bring in the doctor. He just let him go back and fight again. And so there's 2 or 3 things in the fight that they were just complaining about, looked really bad. And so he was supposed to ref another fight later in the night, and they pulled him from the card to not ref any of the remaining fights.
Yeah, when you're incapable of doing your job, especially from like saving somebody's health, you need to get the heck out of there. Yeah. And I'm seeing it more and more, especially the commentators, because the commentators know best because they're former fighters, they're former champions, so they know when a fighter's out of the fight and they're just taking unnecessary punishment, unnecessary head trauma that can potentially really hurt them. So I can see how I've seen Paul Felder do it. I can see Cormier getting into it now. That
Dan Hardy got fired for it.
Oh yeah, that's who it was. Yeah. Hardy was yelling one time.
Dude, he was like, "Stop that fight!" Stop.
Yeah.
It's kind of ironic that he got fired, but now DC
So what do you think about it? Do you think like the commentators should pipe down a little bit, or you think it's their job to kind of like say something?
It's a tough one for me because they're cage side. They're literally so close to the action. Just like you said, they're former fighters, so they know what's what. Really, in commentating, you're not supposed to, call out the ref or make him look bad. It kind of makes the promotion look bad.
Yeah.
But the fighter's never going to give up in there and say, hey, the corner doesn't want to throw in the towel. The fighter's not going to give up. He's a fighter. So it's the referee is there to protect the fighters against their own will because there's savages in there that'll go to the, they're knocked out unconscious. And you take 15 unanswered shots, it's tough. So I'm in between. I get it for the commentating and the promotion, but I can't hate on the guys for like looking out. They're watching these fighters right up close and they think the fight should get stopped. So it's a tough one, but something has to be done because this has happened like 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah, something needs to be changed, and the refs, the judges, you know how it is. We can go on about that.
Yeah. So we'll jump next topic. So we'll talk one last topic before we jump into our fight pick. Khamzat Chimaev literally picks up his opponent, slams him over next to
Poor
Dana.
Leech.
Poor Leech, man. I know he's trained out of here at Team Alpha Male. And then he just took ground and pound the rest of the way as Khamzat was talking to Dana White, saying, I'll fight anyone you have. Get me Brock Lesnar if you want. There's all this crazy stuff. And Dana's like, focus on the fight. And he ended up finishing him. And this guy's, his hype is real. The hype train is real. He's now ranked number 10, and he's going to be fighting top 10 guys here on out. Yeah. So how do you think that fight went? And are you excited for him to be in the fighting top 10 guys?
So Khamzat's doing all the right things to be a viral superstar. He's beating people. He's bringing the entertainment. He's saying he's gonna kill whoever. Like I don't know how many times he said he was gonna kill somebody or I kill him. And almost where I was like, ooh, bro, like quit saying you're gonna kill somebody.
Yeah, it's kinda...
Like I was like, say you're gonna beat everybody.
Yeah.
Like don't say you're gonna kill everybody. So I don't know if it's the language barrier or he just really doesn't care. But I thought that didn't look good or didn't sound good, right? But nowadays you just never know. Like we're in the fight world, so he's doing everything to get him paid and to move up in the ladder to fight for the championship belt.
Yeah, I can't hate on him. He's building his brand.
Yeah,
he's blowing up on social. Dana was going to feed him any fight that he wants, and he's been calling out Nate Diaz the past week since his fight. He wants that Nate Diaz fight. And it's 2 things. Khamzat can build his name off Nate Diaz, and this is Nate Diaz's last fight in the contract. And I think Dana wants to feed him to Khamzat because he thinks Chimaev is going to beat Nate, and it'll make his brand not look as good on the way out.
Yeah.
So it kind of pisses me off a little bit. I love to see Nate get an armbar or something.
But does Nate need to take that fight?
I don't think so.
I think he's at the level where he can say yes or no to a fight.
He is. So we'll see if that fight gets made and whatever happens with Nate, because Nate's been calling out Vicente Luque, and that's who he wants his last fight. I think it's a great matchup. So we'll see what happens, but it's kind of funny how they're playing this game a little bit. All right, let's move into the official fight picks, guys, for UFC 268. We'll start off first one brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. We got Frankie Edgar as a plus 140 dog against Marlon Vera, coming as a minus 172 favorite. So we all know about Frankie, legend of the game, 24-9, 7 TKOs, 4 subs. His last loss was that nasty wild TKO from Corey Sandhagen. Well, he's looking sharp in training camp. We got the inside scoop from Cody Garbrandt that he has a lot of output. He's in shape and he's looking good. On the other side, Marlon Vera is no joke at 17-7. I would say his confidence is at the all-time high. He beat Sugar Sean O'Malley and has really been riding that wave. 7 subs, 6 TKOs. His last one was a win against Davey Grant in June. So when you first see this fight, Chris, what pops out to you?
Frankie is still fighting the best guys, in the division, and guys, or the up and comers too. Like the guys who might not be the top 3, but are definitely dangerous and can be can be up there. And Marlon's been if he's won some fights in the previous, it's been very close. If he's lost some fights in previously, like the Song fight, it was pretty close, right?
Yeah,
it's not like he's getting beat and then just getting smashed. Like all his fights, he's either winning impressively, or he's losing very close. So, Chito, he's a tough dude, but he's fighting a guy like Frankie Edgar.
Yeah.
And Frankie Edgar has been around since before I even started fighting. That Tyson Griffin fight when he first came into the UFC was one of the best fights I've ever seen. And if you guys have never seen that fight, go check out the Tyson Griffin Frankie Edgar fight.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
It's epic, bro. And I want to see Frankie Edgar win this fight. He's coming off that loss to Sandhagen. I want to see him turn this around. I think he can put the pressure on Marlon. He's got to watch those knees up the middle. I think Marlon's going to try to time some of those knees. And Marlon's pretty big for that division. So Frankie needs to get inside, get the takedown, and then work his pressure on the ground and get the ground and pound going.
Yeah, I think exactly that. I think, he has good boxing. He has good hands. He's been kind of falling in love with it lately. He gets in these scraps and with these young up-and-comers that are becoming more and more of these just crazy strikers right off the bat. I think it's, you're seeing more of those. I hope Frankie leans on his wrestling game and goes for those takedowns and works the ground and pound.
Yeah,
He's a strong guy for the Division II. Get him against the cage. Get some grappling going. Don't just make it a boxing match because Marlon Vera he's crafty on his feet and he's got this awkward stance and throws crazy kicks. And Frankie has more of a traditional style, so I don't want to see him get caught again from a out of the box striker. It's kind of like how Sandhagen was a out of the box striker. So I hope he leans in on his wrestling. This is a tough one to call. I'm going with my heart on this one. I'm going Frankie Edgar. I think he's going to find a way to win. I think they're both going to respect each other. So I'm going to go Frankie Edgar by decision on this one. Chris, who you got?
I'm going with the same call. I got Frankie Edgar by decision.
Nice. All right, let's move on to the next fight. We've got Shane Hurricane Burgos, minus 200 favorite against Billy Quarantillo, coming as a plus 160 dog. So Shane is a guy I'm high on ever since watching him fight Josh Emmett. He lost in that fight, and it was just an epic battle they had. In his last fight, he got like this delayed knockout, where he got hit with the kick, and it kind of took him like...
Yes, I remember that.
I've never seen anything like that. I was riding with Shane, so it was disappointing for me. And you just got to worry about the guy's health after something like that because he got hit with the shot, and it literally took about 3-4 seconds before he just dropped to the ground. He was probably spinning, and it just was not good. But, he's 6-3 in the UFC, 13-3. He's got a rock-solid chin, and he's huge for the division. Absolutely huge. He fights at featherweight, 145, and he's looks like he's 6 feet tall in there. So he's coming in this fight with a 5-inch reach advantage. On the other side, Billy's 16-3, 7 TKOs. He's coming off a win in July. He's 4-1 in the UFC, and he was a former King of the Cage lightweight champ. So this is a great matchup. I like what Shane brings to the table, but it's tough coming off 2 losses. What jumps out at you in this matchup, Chris?
Yeah, the 2 losses are for Josh Emmett, who's at the top of the division, and Barboza, another guy.
Yep.
Billy's a tough dude. He comes forward and he puts the pressure on. Coming out of the Gracie Tampa, he's primarily a grappler. He's 4-1 in the UFC. He's coming off the Contender show, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. So I like Shane. I like his style coming out of the Tiger Schulman camp. Those guys have a really well striking background, and they can kind of mix everything up. Let's see if he's made some adjustments since losing those 2 last fights. I think he'll definitely be outstriking Billy, and Billy's going to want to take this fight to the ground.
I think so.
Yeah. Shane's got, some good striking, some unorthodox long, 5-inch reach advantage.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, so I think Shane's going to have the striking advantage, and I honestly don't think Billy's going to be able to take him down.
I agree.
The jiu-jitsu guy, I think Billy's primarily jiu-jitsu. He's not a wrestler. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, it looks more jiu-jitsu based. And I think the athleticism from Shane, you need to be able to, have some wrestling skills to get that athleticism down and keep him down. So I got Shane by finish. I think he's going to connect with some sort of a hand combination and get the finish.
Yeah, I like that too. I think Shane, he's coming off 2 losses, and Billy's a great fighter, but it's not a dig to say it's a small step down in competition from Josh Emmett and Barboza. I think his camp is going to be fired up. His corner is going to be fired up. He wants to show the UFC. When you start going on a 3-fight losing streak, the UFC starts thinking, one more, and if he loses, he's cut. And so he's going to be fighting for a contract here. I'm going Shane, and I do think he's going to be aggressive. He throws heavy. And so I'm thinking he's going to find a way to finish. Whether it's going to be a TKO or submission, I don't know. But I'm going Shane Burgos by finish.
Me too.
All right, let's roll on to the next one.
Oh,
we got a barn burner that all the legit MMA fans have been waiting for since Michael Chandler entered the UFC from Bellator. We got Justin Gaethje coming in as a -220 favorite. Michael Chandler is the dog at +176. I like that. I like that line on Michael Chandler. We all know Gaethje is 22-3. He came in the UFC and he's just a guy that is ready to die on a shield. He throws heavy. I mean, he's a former high-ranked collegiate wrestler, and he doesn't use his wrestling at all because he loves to throw his hands. His last fight, he lost to Khabib, but everyone does, right? It was a tough performance from him, but he always comes out and he's ready to fight. He was on a 4-fight win streak prior to that, and probably one of his best fights of his career was piecing up Tony Ferguson. Really put Tony on a downslope in his career, and he gets fight of the night every time for a reason. He sets the record because he's not afraid to jump in a phone booth and fight it out, and he takes one to give one. It's absolutely ridiculous. On the other side, Michael Chandler, 22-6. I watched him front row, left hook KO Dan Hooker, which was insane power. He lost his last fight for the strap, and he's really eager. He thinks he's one big win away from getting right up there, and I think he's right. I think winner of this fight is right back up for title contention. So it's crazy because these guys remind me of each other so much in their style. Great wrestlers that love to throw their hands, and so it's an interesting matchup. So what do you think? Of course, everyone thinks this is going to be a guaranteed phone booth boxing match. Do you think one of the sides are going to go in with the wrestling strategy? And if so, which side?
I think Michael Chandler's side. Yeah. It's just in his personality he'll be the first one to attempt a takedown.
Yeah, I think so.
Justin has a lot of confidence in his striking ability and just being able to, fight and bang it out. But if Michael Chandler is smart, and if I was Michael Chandler, I would get Justin into a firefight. Strike with him for the first couple minutes, get him a little comfortable, get him planning a little bit more, and then try to get the takedown. I think Justin and his camp are going to be ready for that.
Yeah.
They're going to be ready for the sprawl and brawl. And from what I heard, the people that used to train with Justin, his wrestling base was mostly a counter wrestling. So he's really big on counter wrestling.
Okay.
He wasn't really an offensive guy. He would score off all the offense.
So he'd negate the takedowns.
And then score off of that.
I see.
So that's kind of interesting, right?
That is.
So if Chandler's shooting in, that's kind of where, I think Justin his strengths are stopping takedowns and reversing takedowns and scoring off, people's failed attempts. So I'm a huge Gaethje fan. I really like Chandler too. It's do you go with the more freestyle, nonchalant, free thinker kind of, or do you go with the more, athletic, preppy,
by the book? He's thinking of all the angles.
Yeah.
They're so similar in fight style, but they're so different in
personalities, right? And mindsets.
It's crazy.
Shoot.
The thing that scares me out with Justin, he's down to throw the game plan out the window and just start swinging left hook, right hook until someone gets knocked out. But he's honed. I'm
going with Gaethje.
He's honed it though lately. Okay.
Yeah, I think Gaethje will get the finish in third or fourth round.
Damn. Is this a five rounder?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Wait.
Yeah.
No, is it? This is not the main event, right?
No, it's not. It should be
maybe
3.
It's 3.
Should be 3. I wouldn't be surprised if they asked for a 5-rounder. But so you're going Justin Gaethje by TKO. I'm gonna go the other side. I'm gonna go Michael Chandler. Finally, one I pick against you on, and I just like those odds +176. So, I'm gonna go Michael Chandler finds a way to win. So I go money line on Michael Chandler on this one. I like those odds too. But I am a big Justin Gaethje fan, so see what happens. All right, let's talk about the co-main event. So the UFC had to do the rematch here. Rose Thug Namajunas coming in as a -106 favorite against Weili Magnum Zhang, coming as a -114 favorite. So this is both minus on this. So actually Weili Zhang is a slight favorite. This is pretty much even money on this fight. For the previous fight, for those of you who don't know, Rose came in as the big underdog. Weili Zhang was expected to get this win over her, and Rose comes out of nowhere and drops her and gets the KO win. It was a head kick, right?
Yeah, left high, little snitch high kick.
Yeah, and it was nasty and put her away. Weili Zhang, you know, she's really great on the mic and all about her brand and about fighting, her being one of the best women mixed martial artists of all time. But it was hard for her because after that fight, she was saying that the ref stopped it too soon. I was ready to go. And she was hooting and hollering and yelling to her corner and in the ring. It wasn't a good look for her, but I understand because in the moment, you know, it's all happening. She didn't want to lose that fight. She lost her title. She lost a lot of money. And it wasn't a good look. She then got to see the replays, and this happens with a lot of fighters. And she came out and said, "Okay, I did get finished, and it's all good in the heat of the moment, right?" But of course, she instantly demands a rematch. She wants her strap back. She wants to beat Rose. She's mad at Rose said lead up to that fight, the red or dead comments. It was really a really big hyped fight. And our last Weili coverage on our podcast is one of our most viewed podcasts of all time. That one's is in the top ranking. So I noticed that, and I think it's because of Weili Zhang and her fan base. So very interesting. So looking on this fight, Chris, based on what happened last time, tell me what she knows. She took that head kick, took those shots, and we know that Rose is great on her feet. What's going to be Weili Zhang's strategy coming into this one?
To have this fight go longer than a minute.
Yeah.
I think that's the main strategy. And me as a fan of both of these people, really, I've always rode with Rose. She's like one of my favorite female fighters. But, just shout out to the UFC editing squad. Like, the way they're putting together these new videos, like the build up to this one.
Oh, I know.
And, and I really liked Weili Zhang's segment that they had on like this last event.
On the embedded?
No, I don't know if it wasn't in bed. They just played like a lead
the
up.
countdown. The countdown.
I don't know if it was a countdown. It was just like a commercial in between a fight,
Okay.
but it was promotion for
a
this
promo.
fight. And she was like, she's got short hair now,
Yeah.
and she's just ripping it, boom, 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 and she's like in the background, like, it took me a while to understand, like, I would be mad if she beat me. She say I would accept it more if she beat me all rounds. But out there, she got me. She caught me nice with that head kick. But fight's gonna be different now. She's not gonna do that again. So like you can just see
She's
how
scary, dude.
She's super scary, and she can see how like much she's take this, and like she took it to a whole new level. And I know Rose is doing the same thing. But for me, it's always interesting to see the spark that gets lit under somebody when they lose. When they think they're unstoppable and they lose, I think it just really fires that fire again.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be an all-out war this time. In my personal opinion, it's not gonna be finished quick. I think this is gonna go all rounds or close to it. And man, I want to see Rose get on her back and get a submission.
Oh, that'd be nasty.
Yeah.
I think, Weili Zhang, that was her first time taking a loss. She lost her first pro fight, and then she won 20 straight. And so she hasn't lost for 8 years. So you said this before, like, the fighters, they get, overconfident and they don't know how to build back from a loss. Now she has to do that, and she's going to become better because of it. But Rose, man, you can't get in her head. Weili's like, I see her, trying to say how the fight's going to be different. I'm going to beat Rose and all this. And it could get in another fighter's head. Rose is so composed. She's ready to get in there. She has power. She got the win over her. So that confidence is going to be, she might not have been as confident going in the first fight, but of course the results showed she's going to be confident going in this fight. Knowing, hey, I already got a KO, TKO win over you. So, I always go against my head and my heart, right? And my brain is telling me that Weili Zhang is going to correct her mistakes, come in and get this win. But my heart is saying Rose is going to go back to back and get the finish. So it's tough. So I'm going to wait till I get my pick and let you go first, Chris. Who do you got?
I said Rose by rear naked choke.
Okay, you're going Rose by rear naked choke?
Yeah.
I'm going to go Weili Zhang on this one, 5-round bout. It's going to be hard to put Rose away. So I'm going to think, gosh, man, this is a tough one. I'll go Zhang by decision in this one. I think it's going to be a great match to the end, and maybe it's even a split decision that close of a fight of the night type.
Oh, it's going to be up there, fight of the night for sure.
Okay, you're going Rose by sub. I'm going Zhang by decision.
Good call, yeah.
It's time for the main fight pick of the evening.
All right, the highly anticipated rematch. We got Kamaru Usman coming as a minus 310 favorite versus Colby Covington coming as a plus 240 dog. So we all know this is a rematch of their past fight. That was an absolute barn burner. Dana White calls it one of the best UFC fights of all time. Went to the 5th round until Colby got TKO'd by Kamaru Usman. Even fractured his jaw in the fight. And it was an epic fight. It was probably Kamaru Usman's best competition of his UFC career.
Yeah, I thought so too.
He's on a 14-fight win streak, and really he's been absolutely dominant in most of those fights. Kamaru Usman is just in such dominant shape. He's so strong grappling. And his mid-fight adjustments, he's got Trevor Whitman in his corner. I'll never forget Gilbert Burns staggered him and beat him up the first round. He made an adjustment of leaning on his jab, and Trevor Whitman said, lean on your jab, lean on your jab. I want you to throw 50 jabs. And he just started pinging him up with that jab. Kamaru Usman just landing it out of control, and it really set up all the rest of the fight. And that was a great adjustment from the corner, great execution by Kamaru Usman. And so not only is he a dangerous fighter, but he has a high-level corner behind him. So that's why these odds are boosted so much in Kamaru Usman's favor. On the other side, Colby is a nasty fighter himself. He's got an awkward slinging striking where he slings his left overhand. Good boxing, great wrestling. He's long with his hands. He's 16-2, and he's just has been a dominant fighter as well. So this is a tough one. Of course, heavily favored in Kamaru Usman's side. So my question for you, Chris, is how does Colby come into this fight and come up with a new strategy, or how does he go against Kamaru, who has all this confidence? Not only he beat Gilbert after that fight, he also beat Jorge Masvidal and absolutely starched him. So Kamaru's feeling on top of the world, but Colby absolutely hates Kamaru Usman and wants to get this win so bad. So what's Colby's thoughts coming into this matchup?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew, because I'd be able to tell you, bet some big money. But he's gonna use what he used and was able to land and land successfully and work, right. He's gonna try to implement things that worked well for him and try to see where he made his mistakes in the first fight. Usman's got the 4-inch reach advantage, so he's got to find ways to get past that long reach of Usman's. Yeah. It's hard to get past that reach, and now he's training with Trevor Whitman. He's even got better boxing. He's got the jab. So, in my opinion, Colby needs to start making it a little bit of a grappling match, getting him thinking maybe a little bit of it. Yeah. Try to get inside, get inside that reach of Usman's and start working some inside shots. If not, if you're going to try to stay on the outside of Usman, it's going to be a long night for you. But what Colby's really good at is his output. Oh, yeah. So when he does get in there and he does punch you, it's usually 3, 4, or 5, and he's moving you back and he's landing all types of strikes. He's got great conditioning, and he doesn't stop coming forward. So I want to see Colby mix it up a little bit. I know it's going to be hard to take Kamaru Usman down.
So hard.
But, I don't think it's impossible to do it. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, Colby set a record. He has 61 takedowns in his UFC career. He's relentless with it. And like you said, he doesn't hit the hardest with knockout power, but what I love is he just like you said, he throws together those combinations. He's not a one punch and back up. He's throwing 3, 4, 5 punches at a time. And Colby does not get tired. He's ready to go all 5 rounds. Super hard guy to hurt. He's a relentless competitor. He takes the shots and still comes forward. That's why it was such a nasty fight last time, because both these guys like to come forward. So it just resulted in so many back and forth, countering, phone booth type fighting. And both of them took some shots. So I'm excited. Dana calls it one of the top 5 best fights that he's ever seen in the UFC. It's hard to argue with him. It was super entertaining. It's a hard one to go. We have such a heavy favorite in Kamaru Usman, even though it was a close fight last time. I think if it went to the judges, it would have been a mix-up for a split decision, but kudos to Kamaru for finishing it late. Chris, who are you going with in this one?
I'm going with Kamaru Usman.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a decision. I don't think he'll get the finish. It's going to be an all-out battle.
War.
Yeah, like it was last time.
Okay, I'm going to ride with you on this one. I think it is Kamaru Usman. My brain is telling me that. I like Colby, and I think it'd be good for the UFC to have his antics as a champion. You know, you got the Glover, who's the new champ, who, you know, wouldn't say a sentence of bad thing about any fighter on the UFC roster, which is, you know, is great and respectful. Got to love him for it. If Colby became champion, he'd be calling out everyone in that welterweight division, and, you know, not in a good way. He'd be just talking trash on all of them. He would be the new king, and it would just be cringy but entertaining at the same time, especially if it's a win over Kamaru. Fake Marty Newsman is what he calls him.
Yeah, yeah.
And but with that said, I'm going Kamaru Usman. I think it is going to be. It's hard to tell. He did finish him last time, but I think the fight was going to be a decision type win. So I would just go. You know, even though he's such a big favorite, I would go Kamaru Usman money line. I think it's a for sure bet, and we'll see what happens. All right, that's it, guys, for Fight Picks with the Pros, brought to you by FanDuel. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Please like this video. Stay subscribed. Share it out there in podcast land. We appreciate all you guys. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Hello, everyone. Bruce Buffer here. Thank you for watching the MMA Surge YouTube channel. We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and get notified when we upload next.